Hey friends, on today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about behind the scenes at my HGTV Magazine photo shoot back in September, so stay tuned. I'm so excited to share with you today about my photo shoot that I had with HGTV Magazine back in September. And the issue just came out March and April edition 2022. And so usually it takes that long to be able to produce a great magazine photo shoot. First, they come get the pictures, they start putting together a story, but I want to tell you a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes. So here's a few things that I learned when everyone descended upon my house and we shot my house for a day. The first thing that I learned is that photographers are magicians. What you actually see with the naked eye doesn't really matter. What matters is what is seen through the lens of the camera. And so when you walk into a room, like let's say my living room, the furniture was positioned very closely together, not like I would normally have it, but to put it together, it makes a better picture. Or in my kitchen, there might be a chair that's kind of pulled in an awkward direction, but it looks good to the camera. So photographers only care about what looks good through the lens, and that's what gets you a really great picture. The second thing is that photographers are really concerned with getting the right shot. So whether they have to lean over my counter in my kitchen to photograph my living room, which is actually what happened, they would look back into their monitor to see how does the picture look. And then they would go make adjustments. Maybe the candlesticks on the mantle need to be adjusted. Maybe a chair needs to be pulled in a certain direction, or a pillow needs to be puffed and moved. Or maybe the ottoman needed a different position. So they look through their monitor, and the assistant and the photographer work back and forth to get just the exact right shot. And once they did, they would email it up to New York, and the magazine would take a look at it, and they would say yes or no, make these changes, and then we would move on, either with a new picture or a new setting if they got it right that time. The next thing I learned is that there are messes everywhere, and I mean everywhere. The only place that is not messy is actually where the camera is focused. Everything else might be a disaster, and for that matter, there's always a junk room. So this junk room serves its purpose where extra props are placed, or if we have to move things out of a scene because maybe it's too cluttered, they put it all in this junk room. And for that, it was my dining space. My dining space served as the junk room for our photo shoot. So that door was closed and no one was able to see in there at all during the picture time. The next thing that I learned was that things moved around from place to place. So they may take a prop from one room in my house and say, oh, we really need something on this table. Can we use this in here since it belongs to you? And I would say yes. And so we would move things from room to room, just repositioning them, seeing would this color look good in here? Should we add this? Should we take it away? So things moved from room to room. And after that room was shot, the photographer would move on to the next room, but the stylist and her assistant would come put all the things back exactly where they were before we started shooting in there. Now, while a photo shoot is a lot of fun, especially when you're working with amazing pros like HGTV Magazine, there are a lot of things that happen, like there may be shields outside the window to bounce the light in a certain way, or there may be a big black screen that they need to bring in to block some of the sun or sunlight from coming in from a certain direction because it's washing out the photo too much. And so you're going to see basically just chaos everywhere you look. And you can look at these pictures. This is what's happening as the photo is being taken. But it creates the most beautiful photo. And then everything kind of moves to the next room. It was massive chaos, but it was a lot of fun too. Now, anytime you work with a pet, and there are often pet images in most of these home magazines, and of course my pet was a part of this too. Nike, we got her to come in and pose on the stairs, but we also got her to pose with us on the porch swing. So here's the funny thing about this awkward photo, and this is a behind the scenes photo you're seeing of my husband and I. My husband is not one to pick up the dog that much. You know, I will pick her up, I will carry her around, you know, things like that. It's very common for me to do that. So when he picked her up and put her on his lap, it was awkward for both him and Nike. So we finally got Nike positioned a little bit over, kind of leaning a little more on me, and then I think everyone got a little more comfortable with that. But it's always the unknown when you're working with a pet, and that makes it kind of fun. Now, there were quite a few pictures that were being taken from my porch. So one of them was the porch scene that you just saw, and it was September, so it is technically still very summer here in Central Texas. It was super hot that day. I remember it was really humid, and we got those porch swing pictures done earlier in the morning, so we weren't all sweating really bad. But they also shot my stairwell standing outside the window on my porch. So we opened the big window, and she was able to position her camera to get a really great shot of Nike on the stairwell. So there's all kinds of styling tips that I have, and I learned so much from just talking to the stylist that was on the set and her assistant and asking them, well, why are you doing this? Or why would you put this blue pot in my kitchen? And or why would you change up the pillows that are here on my settee for the kitchen shot? And she would explain that they needed some certain amount of depth in a picture. So I learned so much, and I'm going to be totally applying all these tips, and I have been, to some of the pictures that I'm taking with my phone. But I have some extra styling tips that I can share with you, as well as more pictures of my home that didn't make the cut for HGTV Magazine. So you can see other rooms that didn't make it and other views that didn't make it. And I have it all in the Photoshoot Styling Companion. This is my behind the scenes guide to the Photoshoot. So it shows all these behind the scenes as well as more pictures of my house and some styling tips. This is all free, friends. All you have to do is just hit this address that I'm going to put in the description below. Claim your free Photoshoot Styling Companion and enjoy it. And let me know what you think about it. And also, let me know, was anything surprising to you about the behind the scenes photo shoot at my house? Put it in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And as always, if you like this episode, please check the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a great week, friends. Until next time.